Hi, my name's Deb Samuels, and today we're going to be making miso soup. This is the very classic Japanese soup that I think most Americans are familiar with, and I think you'll also be very surprised at how easy it is to make. The base for miso soup is dashi, and that is made with the katsuo flakes and also kombu. The other thing that you find in miso soup is the miso, and that is soybean paste. And there are several types of soybean paste. There's shiro miso, which is white soybean, and aka miso, which is red soybean paste. Today we're going to be using the white one. It's the most classic and it's the most mild. The other thing that you find in miso soup is wakame, and this is a type of seaweed that is dried, and it's used in soups and salads. This is it in its dried form here. But it has to be reconstituted before you put it into the soup. And what you do is just add your wakame to water, let it go for 10 minutes, and you've got reconstituted soup. My dashi is here and it's already come to boil. And the other thing that we're going to put in there is tofu. And I think we have all now become tofu literate in this country. And what we're going to be using today is the soft tofu. And probably just about a half a block. We're going to be making 4 cups, which will serve about 4 people. So what I have here is I've brought my dashi to just a simmer, a boil. And the first thing I'm going to do is add my miso. But you have to add it to the soup kind of slowly. And what you do is you put it in a ladle and then you just dip and cream the paste with a little bit of the hot stock and keep pouring it back in. You've got a nice broth there for the base. And then what we're going to do, because the only thing that's really cooked here is the miso soup, is we're going to add the wakame, which I've already reconstituted. I tend to like a lot of it in there. And your final is the tofu. And I have a little tofu cutting board that I picked up in Japan, and I'm going to see if I can do this without making too much of a mess. And you're going to cut the tofu into small half-inch cubes, because for Japanese, it's not just about how the food tastes, but it's about the mouthfeel. And let's see how we're doing here. And now I'm just going to set them in, okay, like this. Now, if you don't have a fancy-dandy cutting board like this, you can certainly just cut it on a regular board. And here you see that the miso is just about done. So we're just going to let this heat through for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to put it in our bowl and sprinkle it with the scallions. Okay, the miso soup is done. You don't really want to cook it too long because the seaweed will get soggy, and you really don't need that much heat for the tofu. So I'm just going to place it in a bowl. And if you'll notice, when you go to Japanese restaurants or places, your bowl is not filled to the brim. It's very important to the Japanese, the vessel that their food is in. And so you really want to be able to appreciate the whole thing. Even though this is not very expensive, it looks lovely, and you need to leave a little bit of space at the top. So here we are. Our miso is finished, and I'll just sprinkle on some scallions. Because the seasoning that you add at the end is very important. You get to taste that seasoning. You don't have, you don't lose it. You add soy sauce at the end of things. You add seasonings at the end. And here, your miso soup is ready. You may notice there's no spoon. Japanese eat soup with chopsticks. And so what you're going to do is you just lift your bowl and take your chopsticks. And in Japan, it is good manners to bring your food to your face. So here's your miso soup. I hope that you found it easy and that you'll be able to include this in your repertoire of soups.